Yeah, YouTube, with your free services and letting me touch thousands of lives. How dare you?
Goddamn. Be more convenient.
Yeah. Alright, there we go. We are live. Let me go grab the URL real quick. Yeah, YouTube. Alright, there we go. And let me tweet. By the way, Allison, this tweet is just for you. There you go.
Well, now I gotta bring up Twitter. And...
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. How are you all? Are you recovered?
Recovered from...
Or from last Monday?
No.
Bold of you to assume I've recovered.
Well, I mean, it was a rough session. I'll grant you that.
I wonder if Rhea ever left. He may have just stayed in the channel the whole week.
Speaking of last session, a fair bit happened. You guys finished your duels with the champions of Gorum. Quite spectacularly, I might add. Rhea's sister was saved without Rhea ever having to take a life, personally. I think she won that on technicality. And you were all rewarded and hailed as saviors of the Lilac Order. Mainly because not a single person died due to your heroic efforts in stopping the siege. However, during the celebrations, there was a bit of an uproar. Jolastina was badly injured and found crawling towards the celebration with some terrible news. Shala's mother and older sister had come for her. There was a confrontation in the courtyard where Shala and her family were behind a wall of force spell and at first tried to bargain with you all. Obviously very angry that you had somehow maliciously turned her daughter against her, but willing to let you all live if you simply walked away and forgot about her. You guys were surprisingly unwilling to do that. And, shall we say negotiations broke down? Just a little bit. And you guys ended up getting a mark on your head from the Black Rose of the Valentine family. And Shala had just enough time to say thank you in her goodbyes before she was spirited away to where you know not.
Did we know there was a...
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, did we know there was a mark on our head?
Oh, absolutely. She made it very clear that from this point forward, everyone who owed the Valentine family anything, everyone who was connected to the Valentine family would be after your heads. And she literally told you, anywhere you go, anywhere you stop to rest, you will not be safe. You all made your way back to Corvosa very quickly, but not alone. Almost the entirety of the Lilac Order followed you, unable to send their own saviors back to Corvosa without aid and to turn a blind eye to what Corvosa is going through now. You all traveled back to the city. You got there as clouds rolled in and started drizzling on a late afternoon. You stopped by the orphanage and found a house guest waiting for you. A gentleman by the name of Robin, who was looking for a friend of both of yours, a mutual friend, Van Carlo, who had been missing for quite some time. You all headed towards Citadel Volshenik and met Muri and Chrysidea, who were in the middle of some very serious discussions, and you all talked about everything that had happened and where to go from here. Van Carlo apparently has gotten information on a person by the name of Salvatore Scream, who might hold information to where Seneschal Kerpopolis is, the only person alive who might be able to legally depose Queen Iosa. And you also got news that it is possible that there is a way to find out where Shala is by talking to the Arconas, as her older sister, Camille, has been sighted eating and apparently visiting with the Arconas. In fortune or unfortunate circumstances, however you wish to look at it, both of these issues seem to be leading you towards Old Corvosa, which is a place that some of you know a lot more about than others at the moment, and you will have time to fill them in on such things. But at the moment, the day is long, and the party is headed back to the orphanage to get rest so that they can then decide what their next step is. And when we ended the session, two of you, especially, Alras and Wiri, were going to have a conversation, and Freya, I believe you had things you wanted to take care of as well. Who would like to go first? And of course, the others, if you have something, we will get to you indeed as well.
I don't have preference personally.
Either.
I'm sorry?
I don't have preference. I can go first.
Sure, we'll do that.
So I asked last session. I asked Mori to go to temple.
Yes, and
We-
Mary had agreed to go with you.
We would walk there, and is there like a place?
Total silence.
Huh?
Oh no, I'm. Go ahead.
Would there be a place to sit down in the temple?
Yes, it's a very small shrine located in the Heights, one of the richer parts of town, a part that you're actually intimately familiar with, Arlen. Though you'd never really spent enough time to actually go into the shrine of Sarenrae, even though you knew where it is. Muri, on the other hand, has spent quite a lot of time here. In fact, it's probably your only reason for going to this part of town more often than not.
Correct.
It is a very small shrine. It doesn't have pews, as you might say, but it does have a large main room with a statue of Sarenrae and a place to kneel in prayer. And it does have a small little back room where the caretaker stays. An elderly man whom Murray has been friends with for... How long have you been here, Murray? Decade, maybe?
I think I had said 12 years.
That sounds about right. So just over
Yeah.
a decade. I'd say you probably formed a friendship with them probably the first year you got here.
Yes.
So you two...
The shrine would have been the first place she sought refuge.
I do not have my previous notes on this gentleman, so his name may have changed over the over the months. Unfortunately, I need to be a bit more consistent with that. But this gentleman's name is let me pull up my name list. Avon, Avon. He is Varisian. Though he's so ancient by this time, who could even tell? He's wrinkles and white hair at this point in his life. He's a human. He's probably in his 80s, which, you know, for this world is pretty... So, interesting thing about this world is that humans live to a comparable age that they do in our world today, because of magic and healing abilities. So, but still, even in this world, 80 is ancient for a human. Wow. Is music cutting out for anyone else?
Yeah.
I think Discord's having issues.
Oh yeah, it just
Well, it was completely down this morning, like globally down.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I was watching it at work. They took a while to get it fixed. You know what? Let me
God,
switch.
Can you imagine having to go back to Skype?
Oh no. Let me switch servers again real quick. Now that Allison may have found a closer spot. Let me try the East Coast server, because I should be closer to her anyway. Let's see if this helps.
Okay.
Bear with us, everyone on the stream. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Oh, that fixed it.
Yep.
Allison, you still with us?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Alright then. Well, we will continue on for now. Until the next fire needs to be put out. As you enter the shrine, there is no one in the rain room. Given that it is probably 7 or so at night, it's an autumn night. It's starting to get dark, and beyond that, it is very cloudy and rainy. It's probably a fair assumption to make that he may have already turned in for the night.
Gotcha. Okay.
Would the temple still be open though?
Yes, especially to Murray. She has a key.
So Ross would just want to go in and sit down. And then she would.
Mary will come in and kneel beside you.
Oh, and Ross will like kneel too. Sorry, it was.
I imagine she sits down cross-legged and then like realizes Mary is like kneeling in a very prim and proper manner and has to correct herself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Takes out her bubble gum, takes off her cap.
Takes off, yeah.
Lights a cigarette.
No, incense. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. But you know, my dad always told me that a lie of omission was still a lie. So I guess in that vein, then maybe I've been lying to you.
Mary sighs.
But it's become very obvious to me that I need to be more trusting of others and let people in, and in turn trust others as well. And with Claire, I mean, I definitely need to be more upfront. So, I don't even know where to begin. Is there, I mean, you know about everything that happened, well, most everything that happened when we were at the Order of the Rose. The part that I left out was that I was visited by Desna? And she showed me how to find those people. And we learned about the attack on the city. Or the castle, sorry. The attack on the castle. And they wouldn't have known before. But in my dream, Desna said, follow the blue butterfly. And I was like, okay, maybe I had way too much to drink and I'm having some weird dreams. But the next morning, that's exactly what we saw. I didn't really want to tell everybody what was going on, so I kind of didn't explain where we were going. I mean, I didn't know myself, but Claire got hurt, and I think we kind of walked into a situation unprepared. So I'm going to try to be completely open and honest, and figured you might have questions.
Moiri sighs and sits back on her heels and says, to begin, a lie by omission is different than keeping a secret one is unsure of. No one here will begrudge you for your privacy. And second, it is my belief that gods choose mortals who they believe can fulfill a destiny. And if Desna came to you in a dream, then it was because she believed you would be capable of carrying out whatever task she had in store for you. And lo and behold, injuries aside, you are still alive, and you carried out your goal admirably. Lauded even as heroes, I hear.
I think, at least for me, there might be a bit more to why Desna appeared. I told you that I left the city for a while. I haven't really told you where I went or what I did. And you met Thousand Bones, and you met Satomi.
Yes, I did.
Well, they, from the Lin Kwa tribe of the Shuanti. And they have in order to be accepted as a member into the tribe, they have a tradition called the Black Kwa. Sort of a rite of passage. And I think, you know, the Lin Kwa have a connection with Desna. Of all the other deities across the lands. Not sure why, but Satomi used to speak of Desna a lot, and about how, tell me all the stories about Desna, and I think that's why Desna's here helping me. I think maybe because of Satomi.
I see. Because of Satomi and not because of you.
Well, I mean, to help me. To can succeed on my black walk?
I see. And is the guidance of a god something you want?
Well, that's the other. Did I tell you about William? My brother? I went to visit him on the way out of town. Think Adrian raised him from the dead. I mean, I don't know what kind of magic or what he did, but if he can do that, definitely not strong enough to fight against something like that on my own. And I think we need all the friends we can get, right?
Yes. There are many daunting tasks before us. But it is easy to forget that what you want matters. in the face of such things.
Well, if it's a way to handle problems here in Corvosa and helps me on my walk, well, then yeah, it's what I want. At least it's getting me to what I want.
I would imagine that you have had little contact with, shall we say, the religious community.
No, but I'm starting to see the community in a different light.
I can understand that. The pious soul walks their own path, and Tesna's followers, even more so. She is, after all, the guide of adventurers.
Further reason to make me think that Desna's appearance and my Black Walk are connected. So, how have you been? Do you have other questions?
I have been as well as I can be. It is disheartening to see my city in such a state, and it is difficult to know that I have a very hard decision in front of me.
Which is?
I need to decide where my path lies.
I kind of thought that might be something we should probably discuss with the others once you make your decision.
I have already made it.
Okay.
I know in my heart what I will do, but doing it is going to be very hard. I had thought once that I had found exactly where I wanted to be in my life, that I knew exactly where I was going, my destiny, what I was for, and now I will walk away from it. To pursue a better world, of course, but still.
I mean, leaving for now is the same as leaving forever.
No one ever plans to live forever.
Yeah.
But I fear that if I send them away, it may very well be the last time I ever see them.
Well, I'll be here to help in whatever way I can.
appreciate it.
As you finish that, the door in the back opens, and you hear shuffling out of the door. All right. Mary, you're here, aren't you?
I am.
Ah, thought so. And, Avon makes his way slowly back to the door, back around the statue. And you see him wearing like a nightgown and a nightcap. Oh.
I see I have disturbed you.
No, dear one, not you. And he points up at the statue. Sometimes she is inconvenient. And then, like, as he says so, he puts his hands together at the statue, almost like as a silent apology. I see you've brought a friend. Hello.
Hi. Sorry, I just need a quiet place. Thought this was a good place to talk.
Of course, child. This shrine, small though it may be, is always open, whether you are a follower of Sarenrae or not.
Sorry to have woken you up.
As I said, I was not you. It was another. I'm glad you're here, Murray. I have not seen you in some time.
I've been quite busy, I'm afraid.
I know. And he'll go over to one of the windows and open it to let some of the failing light of the day shine through. Have you ever seen a sky like this, Murray?
Rain?
No. Come here, my old friend.
Of course.
And you get up and you join him at the window. What about you, Russ?
Sure.
And he'll point up at the sky, and for the first time you notice it, he's pointing out towards the sea. And way off in the distance, you see what looks like a vertical storm front. Way off in the distance, but as far to the left and right as you can see. I've seen this type of storm 3 times in my life. You've only been here, what, 12 years? 13?
Give or take.
And you probably have not seen it. It's called the Ocean's Wail. It is a storm of gathering intensity. It can last weeks. But it is always bad. And some say an ill omen. As if the world itself is opening up and shedding tears. Dark days are ahead, my friend.
I had feared as much.
Yes. But you are not alone, child. You never are alone. I want to give something to you. As I fear, as does Sarenrae, that your days will be harder than mine. And he'll shuffle over to the statue and touch a place underneath it that you've never seen before, and a small drawer pops out of the bottom of the statue. And he pulls out the drawer and he puts it on the ground in the place where you kneel to pray, and then pats the ground beside him.
Weary will follow his direction and kneel where she is told to.
The days ahead, I fear, will have great violence. And I am an old man who never was a warrior. I have no weapons to offer you, Murray. but I do have this. And he holds up a beautiful necklace with 6 pendants on it, each with a different type of stone on the end. It is my greatest creation. Did I ever tell you I used to craft magical artifacts in my youth?
You have not?
I wasn't any prodigy at it, I can assure you. But once in a while, I could do something good. Always kept this one. Always waiting for the right time to give it. And I am sure now, as is she, he nods his head up, that time has come. And he offers it out to you. Take it. I fear you will have great need of it.
Weary will take it from him.
And he gives you a necklace of prayer beads. It is a religious magical item. There are 6 magical beads on top of it, with different types of gems on the end. There are also many non-magical beads that are made of amber and bloodstone, creatine coral, jade, pearl, even a little quartz. It's very beautiful. And it's very clear that a lot of love and time went into making this. This necklace, each stone allows you to cast a certain spell once a day as a bonus action, without expending any spell slots. There are 2 topaz, which allow you to cast Bless, 3 aquamarine, which allow you to cast Cure Wounds at level 2 or Lesser Restoration, and 1 black pearl that allows you to cast Greater Restoration. All of these spells can be cast as bonus actions and are cast with whatever special abilities you already possess, i.e. when you heal, you get to add your bonuses to it.
That's sick as hell, actually.
Yeah? Well, don't leave me waiting. Do you like it?
It is beautiful. You said you had no skill, but clearly you undermine yourself.
Well, it's better to be humble than a braggart, I suppose. And he'll put a hand on your shoulder. I do not know what is ahead of you, Worry. Sarenrae is worried, and she does not worry often.
From what I have seen, we all should be worried.
He nods. Keep your faith. And keep this close. And he'll, in your hands, he'll push it to your chest. And the dawn will come.
Thank you, my friend. This is probably one of the greatest gifts I've ever received.
He smiles. Well, either you're telling the truth or you're just telling this old man what he wants to hear. Either way, I'm okay with that. Oh, but it is getting late. You two are welcome to stay as long as you like, but this old man needs sleep.
Weary clicks her tongue. Have you ever known me to be a liar? Go sleep, old friend.
Good night.
He nods, and he shuffles away back into his room, closes the door. By the way, this item requires attunement. It's the small print.
Thanks, voice of Sarenrae. I appreciate that.
Yes,
Don't you love when the statues talk to you?
Yeah, you feel like the whisper in the wind. This item requires attunement.
Wow, that must be a really bad storm. I swear I thought I heard say something. Do you wanna Should I go ahead and head back?
No, you are welcome to stay. I imagine you have questions as to what exactly it means to have a relationship with a god.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better.
Well, not to be blunt or anything, but yeah. I am not sure exactly what you guys have planned. Is that something like, and we close scene as Murray and Aras talk, or do you have questions you actually want to address?
Well, Ross wanted to ask about what made her like realize or accept Sarenrae.
And that is, I mean, does
But-
anybody care to hear that? Like, we can handle this outside of, we can handle this outside of session.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's just trying to like get some understanding and context, but like as a player, unless you want to share it.
It is up to you guys. I'm not trying to rush you along. I just want to know where you guys want to end the scene.
Gotcha. I think that's a good place, because, I mean, we can handle this in character later.
Sure. All right.
I know we have other things to do. Sorry, y'all.
No, I don't think anyone here did not enjoy that.
How dare you roleplay in my RPG?
I know
Sorry.
we're supposed to be just like balls to the wall, fighting assassins right now.
Exactly.
Freya,
Hello.
what does your character do on this evening?
Freya is heading towards the academy.
Okay. You make your way down the streets as the drizzling rain doesn't quite get through your heavy cloak. And the streets are again muted. Not only is it later in the day, but of course the streets have been quiet for quite some time, as the atmosphere of the town has not been one of joy of late. And you make your way to the academy as the daylight starts to okay, well, that's happy chirpy birds. Let's not do that. There's no birds in a rainstorm. You make your way there and make your way through the gates. Of course, you're uncontested, as this is your home, and everyone, I mean, there's no one here that doesn't expect to see you there. What do you do when you get to the academy?
Okay, one sec. I was adjusting the volume real quick, but
Sure.
Freya would. I also want you to know something as the GM, because
Mhm.
it would only come up this session as I just acquired the item. She probably, when walking around alone, is actively using the hat of disguise.
Oh, hey! That's the item you
Or-
chose, huh?
Yeah, for the whole sake of we're being chased by assassins. so
Sure,
why would
sure.
I want to look like myself?
What do you want to look like, Ronald McDonald?
Burger King. This is a Burger King household.
Well,
do you
given the
creep down the
area-
streets?
My. She'd
What would
probably
Freya look
make
like?
herself probably like a more like up there, like noble woman. Not, I don't think she would make herself look like someone she specifically knows, but just someone she's seen on the street, or
Gotcha.
just someone who belongs in the area a bit more than herself.
Right.
Or no, she belongs in the area. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not trying to be killed.
Absolutely. So we'll say a stout cotton dress, nothing silk or ball gown type, but definitely higher end, maybe long blonde hair, very un-Freya like, but still not you're not a high noble walking down the streets. You're just someone of means.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You make your way into the academy. A thing that you have learned in the academy is that if you act like you're supposed to be there, you can get quite a ways in before anyone questions that.
She might honestly walk around in that disguise still until she gets to where she's trying to go.
Of course. You find on this day you are unaccosted. Where are you headed?
She would be going to go see Headmaster Tylan.
All right. As usual, you would find him in his study, in the center of the academy, as he's one of the most respected wizards there. He is aged. As far as you know, he is a half-elf that is well over 200 years old. Despite his age, he holds it well. His hair is gray, and he does have a small pointed goatee that is always brushed and oiled. And his hands are incredibly nimble and dexterous for someone of his age. And as you approach, you see him in his study, writing in his book with a quill pen. And he seems to be completely lost in his scroll.
Mm-hmm. She would probably walk over to him, and I think before saying anything, she might glance over his shoulder some curiously. What is he looking at?
He's actually
Or could
writing.
she even
He's
discern?
he's
Oh, he's
penning
writing.
something. Yeah.
Well, I
roll
don't
me
know
a
if she would do
perception
that
check.
if he was writing.
Oh, okay.
She might. I think she might still. She'd just be curious.
Roll me a perception check.
Let me get my perception. Oh.
Well, you're trying to read it upside down. And unfortunately, it appears that he is writing in illusory script, which means that whatever he's writing is encrypting itself as he writes it.
Very fair. Makes sense.
But is so lost in his work that you stare over at the scroll for 15-20 seconds, and he still hasn't looked up or noticed you.
I think she would probably pull herself like a seat or something, or if there's one already there. And she'd probably watch him for a couple seconds, but if he still doesn't notice, she'd speak up some.
I'd say the creaking of the chair
Okay.
would make him look up. What? Oh. Give me a second. Hello, Freya. You're looking well this evening.
Thank you, Master Tylan. Sorry, I'm just a bit,
Not
frazzled
quite
right
as
now.
good as your brother was at this, I'm afraid.
I'm just very distracted. That's actually why I came to you.
Oh. I must admit, I have not seen much of you lately. Not, he holds up his hands quickly. Not that that's not to be expected. My condolences for Faust. He was one of my more troublesome students, but a good one.
She has this kind of somber expression take over her some. She doesn't she doesn't look away, but she's just kind of looking down some in thought. She'd speak up though and say, I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was.
What can I help you with, my dear?
A lot of things. Where to start? I think that's a good place, actually. I don't want things to stay that way. Faust, I'm looking for a way to... I know that sort of magic exists, I'm not a practitioner of it, but I know there's some here who, perhaps even you, who might could bring him back.
Well, there are many methods to achieve what you ask. There's resurrection, of course, though there are few in the academy itself trained in such arts, but there are other means. Some that society would frown upon. But Freya, and he'll fold his hands, I'm sure you understand your brother was a unique case. It's not a simple matter of bringing him back. You know the deals he made.
She kind of has this look of uneasiness that comes over here for a little, but she quickly steals her expression a bit and says, I know that. I know. That doesn't mean that I'm okay with it. I didn't even get to say anything to him before that. At least not anytime recently. I want to talk to him a lot more. I want him here. I don't care about what he did in the past.
He'll lean back in his chair, as if considering your words for an almost uncomfortable amount of time. There may be a way. It is beyond my power, I'm afraid, but I might know something. Tell you what. If you would do me a quick favor, now that you're here, I will look over my notes, see what I can find for you.
She nods acceptingly. Of course.
There is a particular magic item I need for my studies. The library will of course have it, but you know me, I've been so busy I haven't had the time to go search for it. If you could go there and study it just for a time for me, maybe write a few notes, I will see what I have here and I'll meet you down there in, say, an hour.
She nods. Thank you. Of course I'll do that. What is it?
They're called, and he's looking at you intently, the earrings of Kalandir.
Could I possibly roll a check to see if I... Okay.
By all means.
What type are you wanting?
Arcana.
Okay. This would just be... Oh, wow.
You've heard of them, though you don't know many details about them. They are artifacts, and they're not a solo. What you do know off the top of your mind, as you are a very intelligent person, is that they are more of a classification of item. In other words, it's not unique. It's not a unique, wondrous item. It is something that there's probably many copies of in the world. You know that they are earrings that a wearer can wear, and that it has some form of manipulation to them. You don't quite remember what, though.
okay. She would probably seem lost in thought for a moment, thinking about everything, like as if that's going through her own head. But she would look back up to him and say, "Yes, I've heard of those. I'm sure I'll know it's them when I find them."
Have you? Well, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Well then, should be a simple task. Just pop on down to the library and I'll see what I can find here, and I'll meet you there.
Of course. I look forward to seeing you, sir. And she'll give a very proper and polite bow.
He'll nod as you leave the room and you make your way down to the library. These are well-traveled routes for you. Do you keep your disguise up?
She probably would, honestly.
Okay. Just because he was able to see through it doesn't mean everyone can. He is, after all, a headmaster. And rolled reasonably well. It's not too hard for you. I'm not even going to make you roll because you already did. You kind of, when you get to the library, you kind of have an idea of what you're looking for and where to go find it. When you get into the library, it's one of the smaller ones in the academy. And as late it is in the night, many of the students are either back in the dormitories or in their summoning halls practicing for their tests. There's only about 5 people in there. Some young, look like they're students, others older, probably nobles or influentials in the city trying to look up some spell or another. It's not uncommon. You find the book that you're looking for, sit down at the table. Do you take notes or are you just kind of skimming through?
She would probably be a pretty avid note taker considering her classification of wizard.
Alright. The earrings of Kalendar are a uncommon magical item. Well, actually, it would be classified as rare. That is only made by powerful crafters. They are earrings that, when you place them upon a person, they can subdue them for as long as they're being worn. It's not exactly like domination or charmed. It's more of a... it lulls them into a sense of passivity. A subjective or a subtle it makes them wow, I've lost all my words. These
like
earrings have a way of making someone susceptible to your commands and desires.
Oh. Like you would have, or they would have disadvantage on insight checks against you, almost?
No, more like you would have to make a wisdom save to not do what they're telling you to.
Okay, gotcha.
An interesting thing about the earrings is that the longer they are worn, the harder they are to resist. They are designed to break down a person's will.
That is pretty scary.
Yeah. They are definitely not nice objects to have. There are 2 ways, of course, to recognize them as you're taking your notes. One is that they have deep dark red bloodstones on them. And 2, someone who's worn the earrings for any length of time will have clouded eyes, as if misted over. And as you finish taking your notes, sure that you've gotten pretty much everything that you can from them, including notable people who have made them in the past, you hear a noise and you look up, and Tylen enters the library. Well, Freya, it seems that you have gotten yourself into a bit of trouble this time. And he closes the door behind him and locks it. I do not know what you did to upset the Valentines.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And he raises his hand. Roll me an Arcana check.
Okay.
And you can tell he is, with lightning speed, casting Hold Person at a very high level.
Can she use her reaction to counterspell?
You can.
She probably knows that she can't cast it at a high enough level to stop him from it landing, but she can attempt to check against it.
Go ahead.
Oh no.
You see what he's doing, but you are unable to stop it. It is like a pebble thrown at a wave. But you don't feel yourself freeze. Instead, you hear around you, "What are you doing, old man?" And you see around you, the 5 people in the room are frozen still. And Tylen shakes his head. 20 years I have served the Valentines faithfully. But when the order came to kill you, it broke my heart. Even I have my limits. I do not know what craziness you have gotten yourself into, child. But I will not be the one to kill you. The answers... Oh, go ahead.
I think this whole time she's just staring at him in shock, like jaw dropped, like eyes wide, and she's like slowly turning around looking at all the people frozen.
Half of them had daggers half drawn, and in the moment when you were not noticing, they had moved towards you.
Oh, yeah, I doubt Prey was paying much attention to them.
The answers you seek. Your brother Faust. He is held by the goddess of death, and she does not give up her prizes lightly. There is one that I know that could do it. Outside of Corvosa, on the prairie, there is a Shoanti clan called the Linqua. Their leader, a man wise beyond his years, is named Thousand Bones. He would have the power to do what you ask, but you would have to earn his respect first.
Thank you so much, Master Tylan.
He holds up a hand. Do not thank me. And he holds out another hand, and you see in it a red teardrop of light, the casting of a very high-level fireball. He looks you in the eyes. I think it would be time to run, dear.
She will cast haste on herself and run.
Goodbye. You hear as you run out the door and down the hall. And as you make it maybe 100 feet, there is a tremendous explosion as the library is blown to bits. With the level and intensity of that fireball, you're quite sure everyone in the room is probably dead.
That's very morbid. I'm not sure how she would react to that. Probably negatively, but she's also like, my life. I'm sure there was some hesitance before she fully closed the door and left. But I think she's just in so much shock. She's probably just gonna keep running. I don't even know if she's going somewhere specific. She's just running.
Okay. We'll pull out for now. Robin, Amelia, Rhea, what are you guys up to?
I mean, Amelia was going to talk to Moiri at some point, but she's currently at the temple, so if someone else wants to do something.
Robin posts himself probably outside a main entrance back against a wall and just kind of closes his eyes and sleeps.
Okay. Fair enough. Rhea, what are you doing?
Rhea's probably just in the warehouse trying to keep herself busy between the children in Portly and her and Shala's instruments.
Yeah, your little murder dog is as happy as ever, playing with the kids. Alright then. Why don't we fast forward a bit till people get back? I imagine Wiri and Ross, you would eventually make your way back to the orphanage.
I think so.
Alright. Freya, real quick, Freya, would you eventually make your way back to the orphanage?
I am gonna make a check for that, like
Sure.
a character check. I'm curious.
By all means.
And by orphanage, you mean the warehouse, right?
Yes, the warehouse.
Honestly, I think her first thoughts would have been to just go somewhere safe.
Where is
So
safe?
she might later, where that's the issue. She might have gone to Citadel Bolshevik.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Where would be closer? The Rose Order, Citadel Bolshevik? Because I don't know where they're staying.
They're outside the city, so it's definitely Citadel Bolshevik.
She might have gone there first.
We'll
Not in a good state of
say
mind.
you're kind of like dashing through the streets. Okay, that's getting a little loud. You're dashing through the streets, and you dash in the streets. The nighttime has fully grown. The water is spraying down the sides of the buildings, and as you're running down the streets, you hear, "Oh, Freya, my friend, why are you in such a rush?" Actually, wait, no. Before we do that, give me a second. Yeah, he might not have recognized you. You're in disguise, but you hear
Yeah.
that.
Okay. She would probably stop recognizing the voice, and she would like turn, like deadpanning towards him. Her face, her expression is one of. She seems pretty distraught. Like she does not know what's going on, but she definitely is running for her life.
You see Baboom and Brunhilde sitting under the tarp of their wagon, just sitting cross-legged on the ground, eating what looks to be bowls of noodles. Out in just the middle of the road.
She
In the middle of the road in the rain?
Oh, they're under a tarp. More like the, because the side of the wagon opens up into like a storefront, and there's this tarp that hangs over it, so they're covered. And they've got like little fold-out chairs, like you're camping or something.
I think she probably turns around instead of fully answering him. Does it look like she's being chased by anyone?
Roll me a perception check.
Okay.
No. Does not look like anyone's following you.
I would say that he could tell she's definitely very paranoid right now. She's constantly turning around, frantically looking, like checking every like direction. The only direction she's probably not looking right now is him, because she trusts him. But after,
You would hear a second voice, Brunhilde. Freya, are you okay?
she turns over to them, and she lets out a sigh and says, "I'm so sorry. I was running for my life.
Brunhilde will step up to you into the rain and take your hand. Freya, come here. Come out of the rain with me.
I think Freya kind of has this kind of guilty expression. She looks a little uncertain, but she definitely will follow her.
Freya, Brunhilde says, I'm going to cast a spell. It's to calm your emotions. Is that okay?
She would slowly nod.
I will do slowly. And you're familiar enough with this spell, I would think, at your level.
She would willingly fail.
Yeah, gotcha. So Brunhilde is able to cast a small spell and calm Freya down, and then offer her a seat, and thrusts a bowl of hot noodles into your hand.
She'd sit down. She'd accept the noodles. She'd probably be looking down at them blinkingly, some like, because even if her emotions are calm, she's still processing what she just saw. But she'd look back over to her and say, "Thank you. Oh, wow. I must have really concerned you both. I just
I should say, nice young woman like yourself, just running down the street in the middle of the night."
I never expected that place to become dangerous for me, so I panicked a lot. Sorry.
Baboom's face grows serious and he puts down the noodles. What place?
The academy. What I thought was my home.
I see. Freya, I do not know these. What were they called? Valentines?
She not.
But I know their type. They are very dangerous, and if they say that they are going to hunt you, well, they mean to keep their word. I am sorry, little one. I do not mean to scare you, but well, you should be careful.
She kind of meagerly nods. She's kind of poking at like the noodle some, but hasn't like started eating them. She looks back up to him though. Says, Yeah, I know. I've been taking precautions. I was going to try to learn more and do stuff about that there, and just well, the library's not there anymore now, so that might be difficult.
I see. Well, you say you're taking precautions. Where are your friends?
She kind of looks off a bit in the distance. She says, uh, probably at the warehouse. Tending to the children?
He shakes his head and smiles. You misunderstand me, little one. Why are you alone?
I, um, part of the reason I left was a bit personal. And also, I just didn't know if they'd really like the academy. It kind of has a bad reputation for some people. It's the home to a lot of strange things, good and bad.
I find it hard to believe that the friends you told me about would not follow you into hell itself, if need be. Or is it that you would not want them to?
She seems to be in thought for a moment. She says, though, if I were to take them knowingly, and I knew about the dangers that were present there, I probably would have preferred to have gone alone, actually.
He nods.
It was...
Go ahead.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
It was something I've been struggling with for a while, that I wanted to take care of. It's something that pervades even my relationship with them.
I see. We all do have our secrets. But I'm willing to guess that you are not used to having friends, no?
She kind of has this uneasy look, like she's not exactly proud of it, but she nods.
One thing I have learned about friends, true friends, they are wonderful to have, but you do not get to choose their path for them. That even means if they choose to follow you, it is not your place to tell them no. After all, if they were to walk into hell and you chose to go with them, would they have any right to stop you?
She kind of smiles a bit and sighs some and says, actually sounds exactly what we just went through. I followed them straight to that castle and into a siege and stayed there because I was worried. Yeah, I understand.
And you feel a hand on your shoulder, and Brunhilde looks down at you. Freya, take it from me. If times are tough, hard, really hard, having a friend, even just one, and she'll look at Baboom, makes all the difference in the world.
She gives her a kind of awkward smile and says, "Well, I I have friends. I just uh not used to having them.
And besides,
I mean,
Baboon says, like, bombastically, you can be sure that they're not going to try to kill you. They were marked for death as well.
I think that makes her cough a bit. Like,
Like she had like a mouthful of noodles or something.
yeah, she's just like coughing up some of the noodles. Just um, uh, they definitely wouldn't probably try that.
No, but I, little one. It's not enough gold in the world for that.
She probably blushes a little when he says that. But she look over at him smiling and say, "Yeah, I, jeez, I was trying to say that you too as well. I mean, being my friends, but I don't think I have to prove that or clarify anything.
My dear Freya, I am not your friend. I am your merchant attaché. Far more than any friend could ever be." And he bows.
She probably gives him this kind of strange look, like not like she disagrees or is like disapproving, just this kind of like okay with a smile.
And you can tell from his face it is half-hearted at best.
Yeah. But she'll say, "Okay, sure. I'll look at it that way if you want."
And you feel the hand on you again. Freya, go home. It's not safe out here.
She looks down at her unfinished noodles, and she seems to be considering it, but she's like, "I don't know if I want to yet." She'll say, surely I can finish the meal at least."
Oh,
I
I mean, I didn't mean... Oh, of course. Oh, gosh, I am so sorry. I'm sorry. Here, let me get you something to drink. And she, like, rushes in the wagon.
She probably watches her run in there, kind of like, oh.
You see here on the other side of you. Ah, Brunhilde. Sweet as sugar itself, but not always the best at social skills, no?
I think she kind of laughs a bit and says, "Ah, with how much you shelter her from the world, I don't think that's very surprising."
Me? Shelter
maybe-
her? Oh, Freya. She is very much the one sheltering me.
She's gonna roll an insight check.
Yeah, go ahead. He is a hard man to read, but he looks completely truthful. Almost reflective.
She
but you're
probably
not-
just stares at him for a while.
Yeah. After a while you go, but you're not here to hear my history. Eat up. It's warm. It's good. And he like pauses. It's free.
She sighs some and probably laughs a bit after he says that. She would say, jeez. Well, for what she said earlier, now might not be the best time, but I could be at some point if you'd be okay with that. I wouldn't mind hearing about your past. Always looking for guidance. She probably looks around a bit curiously because Brunhilde's been gone for a while getting the drink.
Yeah, she'd be coming back at this moment.
Okay. Oh,
And she'd put the cup in your hand. It's some sort of warm tea. And she'd go, "Oh, Well, maybe another time. Yes! Ha! Another time, perhaps.
She nods. Yeah, that would be nice. Not being chased by assassins and having to fear the very streets I grew up on.
He just nods. Not really. I mean, what do you say to that? Even Baboom's just like, yep.
Yeah. I think she would enjoy herself for a bit, continuing to talk to them, eating from the noodles and drinking some tea. She'll head back eventually now that she's calmed down.
Well,
but...
when you're ready, it's like 6 doors down. They're not very far from the orphanage.
Oh. I didn't realize they were that close.
And they're like they're definitely in between the academy and the Citadel Volshnik, which also happens to be the warehouse.
Mm-hmm. That's very fair.
So,
Yeah, so
we'll say for convenience sake, you all get back around the same time. Say it's maybe 10 at night. The kids are in bed. In fact, Rhea and Anna probably just finished putting the last of them to bed. Portly is asleep by the cook fire. So, you're all back. I would say as you all pass into the warehouse, you would see Robin just sleeping on the doorstep.
On the doorstep?
Not the doorstep exactly. Where exactly would you be?
Outside, a little out of the way of the door, but close enough that, I could probably reach out and grab someone.
Yeah, the old
My
man sleeping on
crow's
the
on the
porch.
opposite roof of me.
Yeah, like the old man sleeping on the porch.
Mary will gently tap him on the shoulder as she walks by.
He grunts a little, but doesn't really respond.
I do believe it is both warmer and drier inside.
I'll stay here for the night if it's just the same. And he pulls his hood down a little farther over his face, kind of recrosses his arms over his chest. Seems like he settles himself in a...
Then I must at least insist you eat something. I will bring it to you.
He gives a slight nod.
Can I at least bash tar something? Ain't off you?
Honey, you cut out there.
Oh my god, and she cut out
Yeah.
the best way to me. It sounded like she said, can I at least bash the tar out of you?
That's what I want to...
Fashion a tar or something to keep the rain off you.
Can I at least knock your socks off? Come on.
He waves a hand and actually bothers to kind of turn his head and look up to meet your eyes and say, I am really fine out here. You should go inside where it's safe.
You'll let us know or holler out if you see anything funny.
He nods and readjusts his hood.
Is there like a porch covered area anywhere, Squee?
Yeah, actually. There's like a little overhang where the front door goes to the road.
Okay. So I will walk inside, but I will leave Kitty outside.
Gotcha. Robin, a mechanical fox, just like lays down on the porch looking out.
And I will have her tell me if, or come and get me if any, or...
Gotcha. She's in alarm mode.
Yeah, on guard duty.
Gotcha.
Carefully at first, he reaches out with the clawed fingertips and like touches the top of her head to see if she does anything. If she doesn't respond, he starts actually trying to pet the metal cat. And he'll spend a good 5 minutes doing it before he settles back down.
I don't know. What
Okay.
does Kitty the fox do?
She's just gonna stay there, and when he settles back down, she'll probably just lie down. She, like, doesn't even act like there's anything unusual about it.
Gotcha. All right. You're all back inside. Anything you would all want to do, or any of you would want to do before you bed down for the night?
Yeah. It's not like something that really needs to be like a full conversation, but Amelia would ask Muiri to, if she has any slots available, send a message to her mother, letting her know that she wasn't able to stop by, obviously, and that if she's able to, she wants her and Triana to try and get a little further away from the city.
For no reason. Just nothing to be worried about. Just get out of here.
Just please, for the love of God.
Weary will do so, and she will. And after she does that, she will sort of pause and look at you and say, "Your other sister is still with you."
She frowns a little bit and then kind of blinks, realizing that you're actually referring to Annika. And then nods.
Why?
Why is she still with me, or?
Why is she still here? You don't owe me an answer, but it might be something you want to ask her.
She's here because I made that so. Part of her's still connected to Gadrian. If I just let her go, then she would still be tied to him.
And the ring? And Rolf's death?
What about them?
I was under the impression those would make her complete.
It helped, yes. She starts fidgeting with the ring, but it's only a piece of her. Still some missing. She doesn't really meet your eyes.
Can I make an insight check on that?
Yeah, by all means. Is that like Babe Ruth calling it before he hits it?
Yep.
Precisely.
Ooh. I don't know, Amelia. Does she think you're telling the truth?
I mean, she's not lying. There is a piece of her sister that's bound to Gadrian, and letting her go would just leave her bound to Gadrian.
Yep, that side it does seem like an honest statement from her body language.
Very well. And Moira leaves it at that.
Amelia just walks off to her bed, I guess. Actually, no, she would probably go up to the second floor.
By the way, Murray, and you might have said this before you guys had your conversation, but the response you get from Amelia's mother is she worries about you all. She wants you to stay safe, and that she, Triana, and Flack are fine. Not to worry about them.
Don't argue with me, Mom. God damn it.
She didn't say they're not going. She didn't say they are going.
Uh-huh.
Only 24 words, Amelia.
Yeah, and one of them should have been sure.
Yeah, well, as soon as you get the sending spell, you can tell her that.
Fucking okay. Goddamn.
Murray, do you do your nightly ritual with the sending spell?
Nightly ritual.
Mm-hmm. The
Do I,
same
like-
sending spell you send almost every night?
Yes.
No response, as usual.
Mm.
Anything else
And
before you?
And I want to clarify that it's not a demand, it's just a message.
Of course.
She expects nothing in return.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Continue, sorry.
Anything before you guys bed down? Except for, Robin's already bedded down. But, if you still wanted to get up and do something, some calisthenics or whatever.
Some yoga.
I think he's fine.
Aras?
Ross is gonna check on Rhea,
Okay.
see how she's doing.
How's Rhea doing?
Rhea's
She's sort of choppy and
Yeah.
really
still
drawn out.
currently just
Rhea's comatose.
Rhea, you back? Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhea was having issues connecting earlier.
is that better?
A little better.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Oof.
Hi there. Welcome back.
So, Rhea's probably still just going between Shala's violin and her pan flute, just playing random notes on each of them and trying to match them.
Okay. Roll me a performance check.
Oof. Okay.
Wait until after you roll it. Gosh.
It's just the preemptive thing,
Self-defeating.
Always. Performance.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Told you.
See, this is what a negative mindset gets you.
That one wasn't from Weary earlier.
So, hearing this, which I assume is not good, Ross is going to come up and ask if he can help.
So, you know Rhea enough by now to know that she's a competent musician, so this is not a lack of skill. This is a lack of focus.
Oh, yeah. I can maybe do the flute if you show me where to put my fingers.
What? Oh, there. This isn't that kind of instrument.
Oh. Yeah. Or teach me which one is which. Sorry. I would have said which one to blow into, I guess.
Oh, it's a pan flute. Okay. So
Just give her the bongo drums. That's probably more up her alley.
They're upside down, or yeah, she'll sort of kind of just look at you for a moment and then look down at the instruments in her hands and then just slowly nod. I could do that. And she'll pick up her pan flute and she'll start pointing out different pipes on it and say what note that they each play.
All right.
Try to follow.
This time, Rhea, roll me a performance check with advantage because Aras is aiding you.
Okay. Gotta click that. Okay. So performance.
Hey.
Do.
Maybe it's because you're getting help, or maybe it's because while someone else is there, you're not dwelling on such deep, dark, horrible thoughts.
Right.
But with Aras's help, you're able to actually play quite a pretty song.
And I like the thought that Aras currently has the pan flute, so Rhea's just playing on the violin that she doesn't really know how to.
Yeah, you're more plucking it than than using a bow, but you're getting it done.
Just play it like a ukulele.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was literally about to type that.
All right.
Well, now that we're all thoroughly depressed,
Shall you all
Just
get some
had to
sleep?
do that for you.
Well,
Yes, Freya.
there's one thing Freya would have brought up. I just was waiting for interactions to go by because I feel like she wouldn't do it immediately.
Sure.
She would bring up a concern. It doesn't have to be in conversation, but with all the other characters of sleeping in shifts, she probably wouldn't say why, but I think it would be kind of obvious her concerns. Sleeping in shifts means someone's always awake in case someone breaks side.
Sure. I mean, that's also why Kitty's sitting outside.
Are you saying this in character?
Yeah.
She'd say, I know that, but I mean, there's ways to get in a building without going through the door.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely do shifts. Not a problem.
It's just something we should probably get used to until this is blown over.
There's 6 of us, so I'd say 3 shifts, 2 people each. No?
She look around.
how outwardly freaked out is Freya? Like, how insistent is she on this?
She's completely overreacting.
Wow. Thanks God.
I don't understand why she's in such a state.
Well, no, because Mwiri does not know what's happened. So,
Right?
like,
No,
yeah.
no one
if
does except
Freya
Freya.
is visibly, if
I
Freya
mean,
is
Freya-
visibly shaken, she's gonna want to know why.
Yeah.
You would know Freya to be generally pretty calm and collected. She does seem a little emotional about this though. Like she's actually a bit concerned for her life.
And Rhea, it's Rhea and Amelia. It's pretty obvious to you guys. Freya she's not hysteric by any means, but something is really bothering her. All of you, holy crap! You were all on point. I'm sorry.
Knows.
I think Brunhilde's spell has worn off. Like
Yeah.
Freya's just standing there completely shaking. No reason. Just thinking maybe, you know.
Mary will sort of reach out and take Freya by the elbow and say, "Child, what happened? Is everything all right?"
She probably gets a little bit flustered and says, it's okay now. It already took place. I
What
just
already took place?
I was ambushed at the academy.
You didn't think that was important to mention?
She kind of looks off some and says, "Well, telling you that my assassins died wouldn't help you very much. I didn't think anyway.
Were you
I
hurt?
assumed. No, Master Tylan helped me. I actually just ran away. But if anything, I think it's very clear that those threats weren't him. I don't think it would be safe for any of us at any point to all be asleep at the same time, or to be alone anymore." Yeah, if he's traveling with us, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he's around.
Uh-huh.
It was a really big fireball.
It was a very big fireball.
Yep. Amelia just kind of shakes her head and goes, "I'll take first shift then."
Gotcha.
Are,
Are we getting the
Not
orphans
we-
in on
fall
this,
asleep
or?
yet either.
No,
yes.
No.
they get the full 8 hours.
Absolutely the fuck not.
No, she just means the player characters.
Yeah, I know. Look, they can earn their keep.
Oh.
Okay.
How many orphans are there?
Okay,
Like 12?
Yes.
All right.
It's 6 per hour.
So Amelia's going first. Anything else before you guys bed down?
Were we wanting to double up on the shifts or just one at a time?
We could double up. I mean, she expressed a direct concern to not have one person be alone, which, if everyone else is asleep, that's pretty similar.
That's what the orphans are for.
Oh my god.
Hey Squee,
Yes.
how does the roof on this warehouse work? Like,
It's-
I know we have a hatch to get up there, but is there like an awning on top of it, or what?
No. It's basically just a sloped metal shingle, like metal slatted roof. Not metal. They wouldn't really have metal. Shingle slatted roof.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit leaky. It's probably a pan or two collecting water.
Okay. Yeah, Amelia's going to tuck herself into a dark corner in the second floor where she can see everything down below, and she's going to take watch.
Gotcha.
Ria will go ahead and stay up as well, just at the center of the room, watching everyone.
Okay. So Ria and Amelia first. Who's second shift?
Are we cluing Robin in on this?
No, he wanted to sleep outside.
Well, then
I
we
mean,
won't have 2 people for each shift.
We won't have even
If-
numbers,
Well, there.
Mary.
God.
Or we can have Anna.
Listen,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, no.
it's two, and then 1 with all of the orphans.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
God.
You can use Anna. I'm not saying you can't, but let's be fair. She's not exactly a barbarian or anything.
Well, isn't Kieran still here?
Kieran is still here. Hi,
We could-
Kieran.
Kieran.
Oh, sorry, I'm over here.
She's been sitting there forgotten about the whole session.
I can't believe God lets you have 2 RP characters. Oh, you're so lucky.
Is Kieran taking part in the watch?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So, Rhea and Amelia first. Who's second? Who's got mid shift, swing shift?
I'll go second.
Freya's okay with anything. She'll take whatever they don't want.
Okay, that means Muri and Kieran, the two that don't know each other, are taking final shift.
Nice.
Are taking what?
Final shift. Last shift.
Yeah, Weary was planning on taking final shift anyways, because she gets up early to start cooking.
That is true. All right.
That makes sense. Cooking
So,
while watching out for us. If
you all
someone
bed
invades,
down.
She's left.
Amelia.
Yeah, there's.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's really in her element when handling hot dishes.
She's like a frying pan ready if someone breaks in.
Yeah.
Rhea and Amelia, roll me perception checks, please.
I'd rather
Ra-
not.
And Robin as well.
Fucking
Okay.
Christ.
All right.
Oh, and just to let you know, she's going to be using ghostly concealment.
Question.
What's that do?
You helped me pick it out.
I know, but I don't remember.
Here, let me just.
She's essentially invisible in the shadows if she stays.
Oh, right. Nope. Okay, gotcha.
I
Understand
didn't even
now.
know that was the effect. Is that
No,
really
it's not.
it?
It's not it exactly. But I know what it is now. You gave me enough of a hint. Robin, yes,
Can I roll for my familiar as well?
absolutely. Okay. The first 4 hours of the night pass by peacefully, uninterrupted. It's very quiet. But after 4 hours, Amelia and Rhea, you're able to switch places with Aras and Freya and bed down for the night. The other... She's not there! Freya, Aras, it's a little hard to get up at first, but you do whatever you need to get up and awake and walk around a bit and take your second shift. Can Aras and Freya and Robin roll me perception checks, please?
Hey, what about Kitty?
Kitty's already taken into account. You know what? Go ahead and roll for her, certainly.
Never mind.
It's rainy. Her joints are creaky.
Um,
Freya's so paranoid. Of course she gets a nat 20.
yeah, Freya is just on point. The next 4 hours, go by peacefully. The rain on the top of the roof is all you hear in the dead of night. There is no sound, there is no indication of anyone or anything. Muri, do you usually dream, or do you have dreamless slumbers?
Who are you talking to?
Muri, you.
Oh shit. Okay. Weird dreams sometimes, kind of nonsensical shit, but like, the normal kind of mismatch of whatever you've seen during the day. But if it's important, it's usually much clearer.
Gotcha. You find yourself in a very clear dream. standing in a field of grass on a very sunny day.
Is the grass dead?
No, it's green.
Okay. Not who I thought it was then. Alright.
You see Shala in the distance, playing her violin and dancing in only the way Shala knows. And for maybe 5 minutes you listen to her. And then suddenly there's a presence beside you. You want to turn, you want to look, you want to see, but you can't. You're in a dream and you do not have control. Deep down inside, you panic a little bit, but you're also in a dream, and in that dream fog-like state, it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't. You hear a voice. A young voice. Perhaps a little older than Shala, but definitely similar sounding. She admires you, you know. Looks up to you. And the person walks around in front of you. It's a person you've never seen before, but the second they walk in front of you, you begin to understand who you're looking at.
Can Weary talk? Is that something she's able to do?
No, you try to, but your voice has no words. Your mouth moves, nothing comes out. It's very clear that you are not in control of this dream. Somewhere deep inside you're aware, but again, as with dreams, it's very muddled.
They might be muddled, but she's still irritated.
Yeah, very much so. Camille. Well, you wouldn't know her name, but someone who looks incredibly related to Shala, maybe just a few years older. But difference being that her hair is straight, dark, and her face, while beautiful like Shala, seems to lack any light to it. She walks around in front of you. She called you mother. Do you know that? Do you know that she looked upon you as one? And she reaches out and she strikes you. It doesn't hurt, but you feel it all the same. And you look at her and her face is twisted in rage. How dare you? You have no idea. Family is everything. And you think you can take Mother's place? How dare you? The field around you changes. The grass withers and dies. Shala continues to play, but as she continues to play, she seems to rise up in the air as if the ground beneath her was piling up. You take a step closer involuntarily, and then another, and then another, and you see Shala dancing on a pile of corpses. Rhea, Aras, Freya, Kearney, your son, all of them in a pile. Shala playing on them blissfully unaware. And then you hear the voice behind you. I wanted to meet you. I wanted to see you. She who thinks she can be mother. I will kill you. First, I will strip away everything you've ever loved. And then, she walks around in front of you. Only then will my hands close around your throat, and she begins to do so. And I will choke the life out of you. Weary, I would like you to roll me a wisdom save at disadvantage.
I forget how to do disadvantage on here, so I'm just gonna roll twice.
Sure.
1, 2.
I'm gonna keep going, but those are good rolls.
We're ain't having any of your shit. And it's worth noting that even in a dream, even when she knows this isn't real, there's still sorrow for even seeing these people dead.
Right.
And yet there's some pity. Because this person is so vastly different from anything that Weary knows. So vastly different and twisted and angry that she doesn't even feel fear. She just feels pity.
She, as one hand closes around her throat, holds up what looks to be a broken feather. Look familiar? I picked it up in Endiason's temple. It was a brutal day for you, wasn't it? Miri, at this moment, you feel a surge of control come back to you, as if the hold on the spell lifts a little bit. You have the ability to act.
And Miri reaches out and plucks the feather from her hand.
What?
Yes, she says. I so often lose them. Thank you for returning. And you ought to know it is I who greatly admire Shala. She has such a courageous heart. And I do hope you let her know that. Family is, after all, what you make.
Her face screws up into one of complete rage, and she strikes you. And in that moment, as she strikes you, your eyes pop open in the warehouse. You are breathing heavily, but otherwise you are unharmed.
Does she ever feather back or no?
No.
Oh, well, who's the thought that counted?
It was. Freaked the hell out of her, it looks like.
Uh-huh. Good. Who is on shift?
Ross and Freya.
Gotcha.
And by the way, Ross and Freya, this is towards the end of your shift.
Miri will rise and come over to Freya and tap her on the shoulder. You've had quite the fright today, it sounds like. Why don't you get some rest? I'll take
Just to ask, would there be any signs at all on Weary, like that this just happened?
No, she looks completely unfazed.
Okay. Then she would just nod and say, "Thank you. I think I will. Good luck with making breakfast."
Thank
and
you.
she'll give you a polite smile and head off bed.
Miri will seat herself next to her Ross, where Ross is, and say very quietly, almost a whisper, "What did you say their names were? The Valentines who took her."
Camille and can't remember the mom, but I would know it, right?
Rosabella.
Rosabella.
Or known as the Black Rose.
The sister, Camille. I will remember that in case she decides to visit me again.
How did she visit you?
In dream. I am unharmed, but you have made very dangerous allies, haven't we?
Enemies.
I was gonna say, very dangerous indeed.
I mean,
Sarenrae and Desna? Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
no.
Yeah,
we're
I know. I
saying
fucked
enemies.
up. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Come here.
Can this
I will remember that.
Yeah. I guess we need to definitely get Shala back. The sooner we get her away from them, the better. I don't think that's gonna be very easy.
No. And you and I both know we are being asked other things.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. That we what other things?
That we are being asked to do other things.
Yeah.
In the meantime.
Well, it's never easy to. We never get the chance to just take our time and stroll through life anymore.
Things are rarely straightforward.
Seems like it's been, jump from the frying pan into the fire kind of few weeks.
Yes. But many stones must make.
What, you had said you seemed like earlier you were considering what to do with kids?
Yes. And I had made up my mind then. If nothing else, such dreams have made it easier for me to decide, to understand what is at stake.
Kieran runs an orphanage. She might help us find a place for kids out of the city for a short time. Safer.
I fear that if I ask them to leave, it will not be for a short time.
But
something tells me even if we find this Carpopolis, and even if we get Shala back safe and sound, our troubles here are long.
I mean, it can't go on forever. There's got to be an end at some point. I mean, I don't. Yeah. There's just got to be something on the.
And hopefully we have guidance, better days. I will speak to Kiernia.
Actually, I think she's up next.
Oh, very well. And I will speak to her when she wakes.
Okay. I guess it's not time to wake her yet.
I just love the way Ross said that. Yeah, all right. No, we'll say, because this was at the end of your shift.
That's kind of what I thought, but
Yeah.
maybe
Kenny's
it's
still
not
on
the
the
end of her
floor.
shift.
She's just snoring.
And Ross, having done the swing shift, like by the end of your 4-hour shift, I mean, you've been really alert, but my gosh, you need sleep.
Yeah. That's why she's like, oh, okay, maybe it's not the end of my shift. I don't know.
It's like pulling fire guard at 2 a.m.
Yeah, the worst.
Do you wake Kieran up?
Yeah, I'll wake Kieran.
Alright!
It's sorry.
Spears! Get the. Oh! What are we doing?
Shh.
Is it time to drink already?
No, it's guard shift. On.
Oh, yes. Starting guard duty. Oh, you're right. I need to be on the hush hush. Thank you,
Yeah.
dear. Here, take my pillow.
Sorry. Murray's over there.
Oh, yes. I should go sit with her.
You,
Oh, I don't get to do guard duty often.
you probably don't want to take your pillow. That's counterproductive to guard duty.
Oh, here. You hold on to it then. She hands her pillow.
Thank you.
It's a good down pillow.
I will just kind of set it down.
You somehow wonder where this down came from.
Yeah, because now I'm a little creeped out when I realize it's feathers. I'm like, I remember what Maury said about like fingernail clippings, and so I'm just gonna set the pillow down gingerly and go off to bed.
Oh my god. Kearney will waddle her way over to Miri and just kind of plop down and be like, "Hey, I was told to come over and sit by ya. So what do we do on guard duty?"
Good evening. Or morning, I suppose.
Oh, alright. She stares intently around the room as if she's actually trying to look for something.
I suppose the best course of action is simply to be on guard. If you hear anything or see anyone you don't recognize, be sure to let me know.
Alright, I can do that.
You have not been in this city long, have you?
Oh no, it's my first time.
I see. And what are your impressions?
Well, I hear that it's not safe and it's a little bit dirty, and I definitely miss the mountain air. Oh, their ale's not nearly as good as the kind we make. It's a city. I like it. It's not bad.
Weary's eyes have sort of crinkled up at the corners like she's smiling. It was better once.
I hear y'all trying to make it better again. That's a good thing.
Yes. Though I wonder how successful.
Well, I think that all matters how hard you try. I find that a good little bit of elbow grease can really get, the grime off stuff. Take away the bad thing. You're just going to put a lot of effort into it.
There are some things that effort can scrub away, I'm afraid. Sometimes change starts in different ways.
That sounds tragic.
I had an orphanage once here. It still exists. It didn't for a while.
What do you mean it didn't for a while? What do you do with a bunch of kids when something exists and then it doesn't?
Well, extenuating circumstances took them from me. I wonder sometimes if the children who survived are still here, or if they fled the city.
That
The
sounds...
city is not safe.
It sounds kind of awful here, to be honest. I was just like, hey, city at first, but You make it sound really bad for kids.
And Weary looks out over the children sleeping in their little hammocks.
They are resting peacefully.
It was. And I hope that at least I have made some difference in their lives. But how can I protect them if I cannot even protect the children that I birthed? Well, it doesn't matter.
Oh, if I could. I've been getting the sense, and it has been mentioned to me. I wouldn't mind watching the little buggers for a while. I've got quite the building of my own. It used to be a large craftsman house that we converted over. All my kids are grown up, and I haven't been home for a while, so I imagine most of the orphans are adults by now, living their own lives. We live in a very secluded mountain, and I could point it out to you on a map. It's not really marked.
That would take a great deal of weight off my shoulders.
And it'll give me something to do. I've been very, very bored since my husband Pierce died. Bless his soul.
Well, I think you'll find a house full of 12 pickets and food hoarders will do wonders for boredom. They have not survived by luck.
Kearney holds out her hand and says, "So I watch over your kids for just a little bit. You can come visit them anytime you need, and when you're ready, you can come up there, or I can even bring them down here. We got ourselves a deal."
And it's a little bit difficult to tell exactly what she's feeling. Her face is a little impassive, but you can see sorrow in her eyes. I fear that if I send them away, that it might be quite some time before I can take them back. I fear, too, that if you take them, that there might be nothing for them to come back to. It would not be the first time someone has been lost in our endeavor to make this city better.
She nods and says, "But to make a city better makes it better for the future generations as well. And you're welcome to contact us anytime."
Thank you. This means a lot to me.
Kearney grins and hugs her.
Now, I would like Kieran, Mary to make perception checks, as well as Robin and Kitty.
Skills, hold on.
Alright. The last 4 hours go by quietly as they can, with Kieran as a constant companion. But quietly indeed, the rain showing no signs of stopping. Amelia and Rhea. Actually, you know what? We'll just go with Amelia. Amelia, 1 or 2 or 3 and 4. Choose one of them. Or you know what? Do odds or evens.
Odds.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Is that good or bad?
I don't trust like that.
Amelia,
Uh-huh.
you're having a restful sleep. Do you normally dream?
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, do you mean a restful sleep, Amelia?
Why?
Since
why-
what?
Why are you guys jumping all? I'm just asking a question.
Yes, she does dream frequently. It's part of why she rarely gets restful sleep. Yeah, right? I know. It's crazy.
Wait a second. You're an elf, aren't you? Do you sleep at all? No, you're half elf, so you do sleep. You're not like an elf.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me check something here. You might actually be immune to this.
Uh-oh.
Give me a second.
Immune to charm effects.
Uh-huh. No, not charm. But let's see. Oh. Nope. Okay. Nope, you're not immune to this. You just can't be put to sleep. And you have advantage on charm, but this is not charm.
Okay.
So, yay. Alright, says the DM who should have checked this before.
Probably.
Amelia, as you sleep, you dream a very lucid dream. You find yourself in the dungeon at the Lilac Castle.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You walk forward without being able to control yourself. And again, you're in a dream, so it's kind of hazy. It's not, at the moment, you're not aware that this is a dream. You walk into the cell where Jolestina is, and you see her standing still and straight, flanked on both sides by two people, Camille Valentine and Rosabella Valentine. Camille is talking to her. Jolestina, it's been far too long. Jolestina looks at her. Camille, why did you leave us, Jolestina? Jolestina looks down. I had other obligations. And Camille stops, and a flash of anger appears on her face, and then is quietly masked. There are no other obligations higher than the Valentines. You left us. Do you know what happens to those who leave the Order of the Mantis? Jolestina nods. Camille stands behind Jolestina and looks directly into your eyes, Amelia, as she says this. But fear not. There is still a chance. I will welcome you back to the family. You have but to do one task. Jolestina closes her eyes. And what would that be, Camille? Murder Amelia. Jolestina's eyes pop open. No. She shakes her head. I will not. Camille's face turns into one of rage. She pulls out her whip, and she begins to ceaselessly whip Jolestina, staring at you the whole time. And you realize that something's not right here. This is not just a dream. You are watching the events that happened minutes before you found Jolestina. But Camille is watching you, and her face is full of glee. You are forced to watch the whole event, and with one last lash of the whip and a scream from Jolestina, make me a wisdom save. No, not with you, not at disadvantage.
You said a wisdom save specifically, correct?
Yes.
Fuck. Okay. Why do I... Oh, disregard the 2. I think I still have the little effect on me.
Yeah, the bless is still on there.
That's still,
Yep.
that's fine. That's enough.
That's still 20.
That's still 20. As the last whip lands, and you hear the cry of Julistina. Something inside you snaps as you hear the words of Julistina ring out. Never. You can kill me, but I will never hurt her again. And you feel, perhaps it's the anger that takes control, gives you some measure of control. What do you do?
Would she be aware that this is essentially a memory, like, being projected by Camille?
Yes, the fact that she is looking at you
Mhm.
directly, you're able to grasp that this is something she is doing to you.
Okay. Fists clenching, she takes a step forward and says, "So is this your idea of torture?"
Camille's eyes widen and then narrow. Like the bird, you have strong will. Interesting. This? No. This is simply repaying a debt. And she steps over Julistina and walks up to you. You are another debt I will repay one day.
Amelia just scoffs and rolls her eyes and says, "If you think that this is enough to make me scared, you've clearly not had nightmares." I know what you are. I've dealt with your kind for my entire life. Certainly not as high up on the food chain, I'm sure. But I don't fear you.
No. I can see that you don't. And I respect that, Amelia, I really do. But you should be more careful. You only have so many sisters left. And with that, she slams you in the forehead and your eyes wake up.
Rude.
Your breathing is heavy, but you get the feeling that far worse effects could have taken hold of you. As you sit up, the dawning light is just starting to peer in through the windows, as you can still see rain tapping against the glass. A light drizzle in a gray morning. Oh, you guys are rolling really well tonight.
I was honestly a little bit scared. Just like, shit, what if she
Is
fuck-
this gonna happen every fucking night?
I don't know.
Oh,
Because
God.
Moira's gonna be real pissed if it does.
Yeah, Amelia has enough of a tough time falling asleep as is. She doesn't need this bullshit. God. Did you want to move on to Rhea next, or?
No. Nope.
Rude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Look,
Because-
this thing is not infinite, all right? She doesn't. This isn't just some godlike power she has. This is an actual spell
Listen,
she's
man.
casting.
Apparently, she's like level 20 bullshit assassin. We don't know
this
what
is-
her special abilities are.
Actually, fun fact: this is actually a spell in the game. It's a really fun
Yeah.
spell,
It's a high spell, too.
and it's really bad if you fail. So you guys are doing really good. That's all I'm gonna say.
Just a general fuck you to the Valentines.
It's working really well for you, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Amelia's just going to head downstairs and walk out to try and get some fresh morning air. Trying to brush that off because even if it wasn't scary, it was still someone poking around in her brain, and she doesn't like that.
And plus, it cannot be pleasant watching what happened to Jolastina, because you know, as you wake up as well, you know that wasn't a dream. You were watching.
That was what happened.
Yeah. So you're not scared. You've been through you've seen things.
I've seen some shit.
But unsettling all the same.
Mm-hmm. She's probably a little bit shaky, but she just kind of goes outside and tries to clear her head.
Okay. As you do that, the rest of you... actually, as you go outside the front door, what is Robin doing as she passes?
He hasn't moved at all. But all that commotion...
Sorry, is he like directly next to the door, or is he like a little off to the side?
No, within like 2 feet of the door.
Yeah.
Jesus. She like takes a step out. She's like ready to like try and relax. She like catches you off in her peripheral and just jumps and grabs her chest like, oh god.
He doesn't move, but he does just mutter, very sorry.
It's fine. Do you have to just sit there right next to the door?
I do.
She just like opens and closes her mouth like, I can't really argue with that, okay? It's fine, just a long night. Did you actually sleep?
He shakes his head no.
You must be exhausted.
He shakes his head no.
Again, she opens and closes her mouth and then like opens it again and then shakes her head and just sighs and leans against the building a little bit away from him and just takes some deep breaths.
You also do see Kitty there, staring off into the pre-dawn light. We'll say about this time, everyone else starts waking up. Well, of course, Miri and Kirani, you are still up. You would have seen Amelia get up and go outside. But, whether or not you could tell she was shaken, she's handling it pretty well, so as far as you know, she just stood up to go get some fresh air. Much like Miri did. Look at you guys, you're a pair.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Camille's back over wherever she is? Damn it. God.
Wasted my spell slots. God damn.
So, we can cut forward to breakfast and the group deciding what their next step is. If you guys would like.
Sure.
So, we'll say that everyone gathers around the table. Of course, the kids at one side, and you guys kind of separate yourselves a bit so you can talk about adult stuff. Would Kirani be a part of that, or would she be with the kids, given what the agreement has been made? And I assume that you'd be leaving fairly soon.
She would probably be spending her time preparing with the kids, getting to know them, memorizing names, helping them pack anything they have.
Gotcha. And Robin, you would have been invited in for breakfast and also told that you guys are going to discuss what to do next.
He'll come inside. He'll stand by the door with whatever they give him.
Gotcha. So we'll say that you guys gather around the table, around a home-cooked Muri meal, which you haven't had for some time,
A long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got a surprising lack of bugs in your diet.
Nothing quite has the same crunch.
What did you make?
Probably a lot of meat of some sort. Everybody might side-eye eggs a little hard because it is Mary, but she does make those.
Robin declines eating everything.
Period.
Gotcha. Mary usually has fruit on hand, and she will also offer him that.
He'll take the fruit and kind of give a nod.
No insects were harmed in making this.
Alright. So you guys sit down to a Muri breakfast. What do you do? What are your next steps? Or, I guess, well, do you discuss what's happened the night before?
I don't know about anyone else, but Amelia would not be the first to divulge her visit.
Yeah. We already talked about it to Ross, so. Mary will probably bring up what do we do now? So she will, once everybody is done eating, kind of set aside her plate and clear her throat. And say, so, I fear our path has once more led us to Old Corvus, which I've only just managed to escape.
Well, from what we've heard, it's not particularly difficult to go in, just difficult to go out, so it'll essentially be just like last time. Hopefully, minus the elemental.
Oh. I thought that was a rather fun addition.
As Rhea has horrible flashbacks, blood splattering everywhere in front of her.
Jesus Christ.
You mean the juicer?
Oh god.
I mean, could try and see if maybe Baboon or Simonius has fun items like that, but I don't think we should go ourselves.
To go shopping?
Yeah, yeah, we shouldn't go shopping by ourselves, or us as a group. And
I think it would be wise to travel in a group.
I don't really want us splitting off. As far as assassins go, that would probably be the easiest way for any of us to get killed, and she kind of glances over at Freya.
Freya kind of like gives this hesitant nod and goes back to eating like, oh no.
Shit, I got called out.
Didn't you bring... Oh, what was this? Boomer? Is that it?
Ba-boom.
Ba-boom.
Ah, yes. Well, if we're going to a shopping trip, I suppose we'd better involve a merchant. If that is what he is, I do not believe we were formally introduced.
Well, and Amelia kind of hesitates and cringes a little bit. technically, we could always bring him to us.
Yeah. He's right outside, isn't
She doesn't know that.
Freya will look up and he actually is, yeah. He's not a very long walk.
Oh.
By the way, since you guys do seem headed that direction, Robin, your character would know quite a lot about the current state of Old Corvosa. Would you, Wings, as a player, want to divulge that? Or I can if you think that Robin would, but you don't, if that makes sense?
I feel like Robin would tell them what he had as far as information they need to know prior to him.
Sure. Definitely
Yes.
understandable. Do you want to, or shall I? As Robin, or for not as his voice, but for
There's a lot of information. Go ahead and give it.
Gotcha. So, Robin would, I don't know, briefly, elegantly, bombastically tell.
Okay. The area's been completely quarantined. It's absolutely rotting. It's chaos, murder in the streets, people aren't leaving their homes anymore. It's dangerous to even walk through. Just general rant, as such.
Gotcha. He would let you all know that there are two sources of order in Old Corvosa, if you could call it that. One is the Emperor, someone who you have all heard of before. His name is PSYLP, a powerful human, known for having a penchant for entertaining himself on a very fancy guillotine he calls the Demon Teeth. I can let your imagination wander with why that would be called that.
What's it called? Run that by me?
What, the Demon Teeth?
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
His source of power is in Old Dock, which also happens to be where the orphanage is. And Robin can tell you the closer you get to his source of power, the more likely you're going to run into his roving gangs of thugs. The other form of control in Old Corvosa are the Arconas. However, at the moment, they seem to have secluded themselves within Garrison Hill, perhaps waiting for something, or perhaps just trying to ride out the storm that is Old Corvosa. Other than those two, it is absolute chaos in the streets. There is no order. People are desperate. People are hungry. People are killing each other. It is a mess.
Well, guess who's about to go over there and clean some shit up?
Kearney. Well,
Yes?
are we not actually guessing? I'm so sorry. I thought we were guessing.
Yeah, no.
That was also my guess.
Yeah, that's accurate. Okay.
So that is what more or less what Robin would know. The last thing, and he may have already mentioned this, is that the only real suggestion or lead that he would have would be to check Van Carlo's home for perhaps signs or information he may have left, as it's the one place that Robin has not been back to in quite some time, not since the school where he taught swordsmanship was burned down. So, what do you guys want to do?
Probably we should probably load up on supplies.
Yeah.
Okay. You taking a shopping trip? Are you bringing the store to you? Ooh, such decisiveness.
Would prefer to bring the store to us.
I mean, he's probably like right outside.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could just walk home.
And if we needed something specific, we could send a Drake maybe to see if Timonius had something.
Well, Mary says, decisive. If your friend is a merchant, it behoove him to work with Timonius instead of against.
Yeah.
I would like everyone to roll me an intelligence check. Save Robin.
Just a flat intelligence check.
Just a flat intelligence. Alright, Ross and Rhea. Ross, even as you're saying that, you recall to the meeting you had with Baboom, where you offered to promote his wares in store, and it occurs to you that it may or may not be a good or bad thing to just go shopping at his competition.
Yeah, like I said, I'd prefer to get items from Baboon, and there's something he doesn't have. Maybe he can find out a way to.
So, how about this? Seems to be a general consensus. Why don't you guys go down and talk to Baboon?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Is
all...
it that far? Or can
It's
I just
6
kind of
doors, so like 6
stick
blocks
my head
down.
out and just go, "Oi!"
It's a bit farther than that, I'm afraid.
Okay.
But I mean, we have to walk that way anyway, though. So it's not.
Yeah.
Correct. It's towards North Point, not Citadel Volshnik. So,
Okay.
is there anyone not going?
I'm gonna stay back here with the kids.
Of course. They're getting packed up, and Kieran probably plans to be able to head out that afternoon if you'd like.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to waste any time.
I mean, their stuff is already half packed. This is not their permanent home, so... Alright. And you would know Anna is going with you, as someone with a familiar face needs to go with the children.
Oh, so Anna is going with them, then.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time convincing the kids to go with this obviously nice dwarf, but someone they don't know.
That is very fair.
And she drinks a lot. No, so you guys make your way down the street. And as you make your way to the street, as you make your way down, you hear the sound of tambourine music playing. Give me a second here. We need this.
See, now every time you bring up somebody playing an instrument, I'm gonna get really paranoid.
You hear the sound of a tambourine playing, and the streets are not crowded per se, but there are people on them. And you hear a very loud and booming voice. Hello, friends, one and all. The great Baboom has come to your wonderful city to sell goods both new and old. Madam, might I interest you in this very fine shovel? Now you might be thinking to yourself, in a city, what do I need a shovel for? But that is where you have not been. Wait, ma'am, where are you going? Sir, you look to me as if you could use the finest cotton in all of Corvus, sir. No? Okay, maybe tomorrow. Right. My friends, it's good to see you.
As they're approaching this dude, Murray gives kind of Murray gives the Ross a look that just clearly says, "Really, this guy?"
He's helpful in a pinch. Baboon, how are you doing today?
I am most wonderful. I have sold, well, nothing quite as yet. It's a very dreary town, but the day is young. But how are you, my friends? Freya, hope you slept well, young lady.
She kind of peeks out from behind them a little bit, because I imagine she's probably following up from the back. She waves some and kind of makes this. Of course. Good morning, Baboom. It's good to see you.
You see Brunhilde wearing like a tambourine in each hand and like a Hanukkah in her mouth, and she's like waving at you with the tambourines.
I think she would just kind of smile some, but like have this look like, how are you doing that?
Mary, since this is the first time you've seen them, Baboom is a drag him out there so you can see him. You can't see him. Yeah, there he is. A blue tiefling, dressed very flamboyantly, and Brunhilde looks elvish at first, but her skin is pink and her hair looks like a natural light purple that falls down in many curls, and her eyes are black orbs with silver irises on them. She is dressed in what could almost be considered like an 18th century German farm. You know, like it has like the it's made out of cotton, has kind of the corset. Think Sound of Music.
Gotcha. Okay.
And she is currently wielding 2 tambourines and a harmonica.
I think Freya would also look over to her and wave and say, good morning to you as well, Brunhilde.
She appears to try and say something, but it just comes out as a
I think she would just giggle some and probably like just watch her perform for a bit.
She is not very good. Hang on. She's not very good, but she's really passionate, and she really looks like she's enjoying herself.
Yeah.
She can hold the beat at least.
Here's a question.
Uh-huh.
So, what does the cart look like, and what is in it?
It looks like a kind of a little bit more narrow than you would expect a wagon to be. 4 wheels, a door in the back, a shingled roof that goes down on both sides, like it's actually slanted, if that makes sense. Sloped roof. The side of the cart facing the street opens up, almost like think like a ramen shop or a street cart or like a food truck type of thing. The side opens up into a little countertop with a tarp that hangs out over it, and above it there's a banner that says Baboom's Magical Trinkets. And Baboom is standing out in front of it, but in the cart you see a wide collection of common items and a few things that maybe aren't so common, a few nicely organized stacks of materia, and an oddly large number of shovels.
Gotcha. Murray looks over this with sort of a appraising look and turns to the tiefling.
Oh, I believe we have not met. I am the great Baboom, and he gives it a deep bow. Merchant attaché.
Good morning, sir.
And who might you be, the lovely creature you?
Murray says in a very dry voice, "My name is Murray, and if you are looking to make a foothold in the city, I suggest selling food. I'm afraid the people here do not have deep pockets after the plague."
Ah. Very wise words. Unfortunately, had I known, I might have prepared my merchandise a bit differently. Though, that would not be impossible. Perhaps a wise investment.
Especially since, well, between you and I, shipments of goods are rather rare now that the Queen has, well, she's got capital on them.
It's not the Queen's job to control trade for her people.
And there lies the problem, doesn't it?
I suppose only if the Queen is a... And he, looking at Murray, stops what he's saying. Ah. I see. Well, words best not spoken out in the public streets, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Well, you are friends of my friends, yes?
And Moiri looks to them. Yes, I'm afraid I was not able to accompany them on their journey.
Ah, then we are rebound, you and I. Surely they have told you of our deal?
He hadn't got to that point yet.
Really? Well, and he actually drapes an arm around Murray's shoulders.
How tall is he?
He is about 6'4". He is a very, very tall tiefling. And
so her crown feather brushing his chin.
and Brunhilde is about 4'9". So, he drapes an arm around her and goes, "Well, Muiri, my friend, no, dare I say family almost. I am what is called a merchant attaché. Don't worry, you've never heard of it, I invented it. But there are so many times which someone like you needs, whatever it may be, spells to help you break the deepest charms, weapons to help you survive, perhaps a shovel from time to time. Well, I have made a deal with your group. They hold a special magical amulet that will call me once a day. You also allows them to send me a message with a certain spell called sending. And this will allow me to come and bring the shop, so to speak, to you. Not only do I sell items, but services as well. And he, with a flash, hang on. Not the most impressive flourish. He flourishes out a scroll, and hands it to you, Murray, of all of his services and all of his all of his magical items that he currently possesses, not including materia.
And they're under the notes, yeah.
Yeah. And
I see you have quite the collection of magical items.
Well, if one is going to compete against the great Timronian, one must have inventory, no?
Competition, eh?
Yes,
Well,
yes. I attempted to, shall we say, partner with him when I first came, but, he did not like my, shall we say, energetic enthusiasm.
I see. Well, perhaps he would like you a little bit better if you knew you had business on your side.
Perhaps.
I would be willing to ask you every once in a while to take, well, perhaps see what he has in stock. Especially since we are going somewhere where we will not be able to make visits often.
Ah, I see. Well, no matter where you go, Miri, my sweet, no matter how dangerous, I can always be there. Whether it be to sell you an item, or to save your fair self with a spell. My only request is it's only me. Brunhilde is to stay out of any danger. And you hear like a like a little like frustrated harmonica.
If that is what you wish, I can understand such a sentiment.
He nods. Well, no merchant ever made a name for himself without a little bit of risk, eh?
A little bit of what? Sorry, you cut off.
Risk.
Ah.
And in return, Mary, I ask about the humblest of things from you and your group. And he, again, hang on. This time, much more fancily, flourishes out an armband with his face expertly painted on it. A simple, small bit of promotion. Perhaps you tell people that if they need things, they come see Braboon, yes? And he looks around. Everyone, I do not see any armbands.
Mary takes one look at this, and you can. Everybody who knows her can see her immediately make the decision.
So she's
actually,
absolutely
not
gonna wear it
be-
like Karate Kid.
Yeah, absolutely the fuck not. You see her think hard about this for a second. How is she going to break this to him and say, would it not be a deeper foothold were you to make it for yourself?
Haha. No, absolutely not. I am but an unknown merchant. You're the heroes of Corvosa.
Yes. But I'm afraid where we're going, not all the promotion in the world would help you. Not unless you are bringing food and
True.
clothes and blankets.
I see. Well, first to your first point, you will not always be there, yes? And if I serve well while you are there, perhaps you think of me when you're not. Second, well, as I said, I am a merchant attaché. If you have money, I have needs, foods, goods. I can get them all.
And you can teleport with the stone to wherever we are, right?
Indeed, my fair Ross. By the way, I assume you were saying that you were wearing yours?
No, I
Oh.
fashioned it into a bandana for Kitty.
Is it on Kitty?
Yep.
That's a
Gotcha.
It's like one of those little bandanas you see dogs have.
So he didn't notice it at first, but when he turns to you as you say that, he goes, and your beautiful cat, what wonderful headwear.
She's a fuck,
Well,
but
who am I to judge, eh? And he like elbows Ross.
what?
She's a goose.
Good God.
Okay.
This is actually killing me. Oh my God.
Anyways, if you can teleport to wherever we are, we're gonna need you to pick up lots of food and blankets and supplies like that, and we could prepay you for them.
I see. Well, that is certainly doable. In fact, hang on a moment, if you please. And he starts looking through his wagon. And he goes in back and starts like rummaging through things. And you're like, oh, where is it? Not over there. Where is it? Here, no. You hear like a crash as like shovels fall down. And like you hear like a deflated harmonica sound as like Brunhilde stops paying attention, starts looking concerned at the wagon. And eventually there's a shout of triumph. Ha ha! Yes, I knew I had one. I knew it. And Baboon makes his way out of the wagon very unceremoniously as he's trying to like pull his leg out from the clutter, and steps down the stairs a little too fast, holding what looks to be a large leather sack. If you are going somewhere that is going to require lots of food and blankets, perhaps you'd be taking one of these, no? And he hands it to Aras. It's a bag of holding.
Don't we have one of those?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, but it's had a dead person in it at one point, so like maybe not the most sanitary.
Months ago.
Yeah, but nobody cleaned it out afterwards.
Yes, she did. Aras takes good care of her equipment.
And more
I
importantly,
don't.
he doesn't know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just imagine he like whips that out. Amelia kind of like leans down, just like, don't we have one of those? Aras is just like, don't worry about it.
Well, Aras will actually kind of, she wears it like a backpack, and she'll just kind of bring it out and like one strap and be like, oh yeah, there was something I needed to see about selling, and like reaches into her bag.
Ah. I see.
Elbow deep.
Like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
face kind of deflates. I see. You have one. Well, good enough. And he like goes in there and like throws it back in the wagon and shuts the door and turns around with a smile. Yes, what were you thinking of selling?
I mean, I have like this old snuff box.
Ah, yes. A very fine item. Indeed.
I'm trying
And
to...
you can, if you want to add a characters, let me know what you have.
Yeah, I'll send you that list of things out of character.
Perfect.
There were a few
and
things.
I'll let you know how much he can give you for them.
Okay.
Also, keep in mind, everyone, if you are shopping, everything you see on the list is available in those numbers, and any mundane items, including rations. He doesn't have, like, I quotation marks, food, but he has tons of rations. He has, hang on, I have a list here, actually. Give me a second. Booms, inventory, common items. Trying to think how much food and blankets and stuff he would have. As far as materia, because we're still kind of playtesting it, he has any materia you would want to buy. He has 2 of any kind. So if you fancy materia, by the way, let me go. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and post this in Discord in case you need it. That's the materia, and this is his common items. Again, this list is not complete. No, I don't have the. Okay, I don't have the numbers. He would have specifically, if you care, 16 blankets. 48 rations. And what else would you want? Involving simple mundane items.
Blankets, any kind of medicine type mundane things that people need to live.
All right, give me a second here. So he has 16 blankets that are 5 silver pieces apiece. He would have 48 rations, which are... Where's that? Oh, there it is. 5 silver pieces apiece. As far as other items, he has healing kits. He has 5 healing kits, and they are 5 gold apiece. Each healing kit has 10 uses, and it can be used to bandage up wounds and things of that nature. Anything else other than that? Because the healing kit would cover pretty much your basic medicinal items.
Maybe like water. I think that's, but clean water. But I think that would already.
Give me a second here.
I don't know. I don't often go into areas of natural or man-made catastrophes.
Right.
Anybody else have suggestions of things?
For things we need to take?
A dragon.
What have we covered already?
I
know
have a
blanket.
dragon.
Healing kits,
No.
rations, and blankets.
If he can get his hands on more of those elemental crystals, but like a fire one this time, that'd be great.
Roll
my
me a
God,
D100.
no.
Oh, seriously?
Uh-huh. Roll me a
Uh,
D100.
how do I do that?
Just roll 2 D10s, and we'll just take the first one's the 10s, the second... Roll them one at a time. And the first one's the 10s, the second one's the 1s.
Let me remember which one that is. That's D8, so this is the D10.
Okay, 70 and 9. Give me a second here. That's a nice roll. Just let me figure something out.
If you made it apparent, by the way, that you want us to summon elementals when fighting things, Freya would probably bring up the point that although she doesn't know the spell, she could learn a spell to summon one, so we never have to buy a gem again.
I know, but that's also a spell slot.
It's a level 4 spell slot, but it's an elemental. I mean, it's worthwhile. It saves 1,000 gold.
I mean, you know, Ross would be good with you learning that.
Roll me 1d4, Murray.
Oh boy.
2. He'll go, alas, I do have but one item that is what you are looking for. This is no red fire elemental, it's more of a yellow, earthy elemental.
Isn't the last one an earth elemental?
Uh-huh.
Okay, but we have to do a different bridge this time. Maybe we can like make one.
Oh my god.
Because I think they might be expecting it this time.
How would they expect it to happen a second time?
I mean, if
You know
it
what?
happened the first time.
It's not too expensive, it's only 1,200 gold. What are you?
Jesus.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
an
actually
elemental
know
gym.
how
Those
much gold we have.
elemental gyms are pretty hefty. But you guys have, at the moment, if your character sheet is up to date, which I think you guys got it up to date, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. Give or take, you have about well,
Oh, we've got like 2877 gold pieces in the group loot.
yeah. Is the party sheet up to date?
I don't think so. Because I don't think it includes, the group, like, it's actually on the note page group loot.
Yeah,
not...
I see it. I think it might actually be close to up to date. Not really though. We'll go with what the group list says, because this one here is. Oh no, I know what's going on. You have 2877 plus whatever's in your party inventory, because that was added by parcels.
Yes.
So total as a group, you have 38, almost 4,000 gold.
Jesus.
Give or take a bit.
How do we check the? Is it parcels?
Is
how do we
that
check the previous
plus
thing?
what we have in our personal inventory?
Hang on one second. I'll add this in.
So we have 2877 in our group loot, and then whatever we have in our personal inventory.
So in your group loot, you actually have, given the including the parcels that you guys got lately. Why can't I add gold here? Weird. Alright, I'll add it here. Okay. Now, can you drag that down to here? No? Yeah, you could. Good. All right. So you guys have in your group goal 3,960 gold. And then you also have your personal, whatever you have on you personally. So, how about this? Since you guys will need some time to figure out what you may or may not want, how about we end the session here? Over the course of the week, you can go over what items you might want to purchase. Ask me if he has anything, and I will find out for you. And then we can start next session with you guys outfitted.
Okay.
Sound like a plan, everyone?
Sounds like a
Yeah.
plan. Yeah, I'd request knowing what materia he has.
All materia, he has 2 of everything.
Okay. So I assume there's a list somewhere?
I put it in Discord for you.
Did you? Oh, okay.
It's gonna be, just
There
scroll
it
up
is,
just a
okay.
tad bit. Yeah.
I forget which one I have. I know I have one.
Possibly. I mean, obviously you do, but it may have changed since then. Just make sure to cross-reference it with the list. I've made some changes to the materia. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end this session here, and next week we'll pick up with you guys outfitted, and we'll finish your interaction with Baboom. Maybe buy a shovel or 2, who knows? And Kieran's not there, so that might not happen. And then start making your way towards Old Corvosa.
Okay.
Sick.
All right, everyone,
Good night,
thanks for
everybody.
watching. We'll see you guys later.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.